So hi, good morning, good afternoon or good evening, depending on what time you're choosing to do this practice. These pre-recorded videos are a really good thing for students because you can choose when you choose to take the practice, depending on how your body feels at the certain time of day. So today's practice is mindful movements, Svadhisthana Chakra, which is your sacral chakra, which is based in between the pubic bone and the belly button, just below, so this space here, and it's the whole circular around that space. It's where the genitals sit, so it's all about the feel of things. It's all about sensations, pleasure, emotions, enjoyment, desire, intimacy, connection, so all those inward feelings. Now, this chakra is a place for letting go. It's a water chakra, so therefore it's all about fluidity, all about freedom, all about transformation and change. So if you feel a little bit out of sorts with this particular chakra, you can feel quite isolated and unstable. You can feel like you have no passion or emotion. You can feel quite dead inside. So we need to balance this chakra out to get ourselves feeling positive, creative, energized. So it is a place for creativity. So when we have creativity, we tend to change things, and change is a really important part of this chakra. It's the colour orange as a colour. So when we did our first practice of chakra, which was the Muladhara, that was the colour red, and it moves up through the system with different colours. So as I said, it's a water element, so we need to be really fluid throughout this practice. So we won't be doing many static holds, we'll be doing lots of movement of arms and legs, getting some mobility through those shoulders and hips. Trying to keep ourselves very much in the present moment rather than thinking too much about the past, too much about the future. To have those feelings and sensations within the body, we do have to stay present. So I invite you to try and forget anything that's happened an hour earlier or anything that you need to do after you've done this class, and just really feel into the space within your own body. So we're going to start with our place in child's pose. So bringing our big toes towards the back of the mat, knees nice and wide, and slowly just rock those hips back towards those feet. Seat towards the feet nice and slowly, moving through the waist, moving up through that spine, maybe moving through that head, slowly starting to walk those hands forward towards the front of the mat, slowly bringing that chest down towards the floor, forehead towards the mat. Breathe in, walk the hands over to the right side of the mat. Bring the left hand on top of the right, the left sit bone back towards the heel. Then take your next breath in, walk the hands over towards the left side of the mat. Right hand on top of the left, right sit bone back towards that right heel. Breathe in, walk the hands back into the center. Take a breath out in neutral spine. And again, just move that body with fluidity as you're resting over those thighs, sinking that chest in between them. Then slowly move that body up into a tabletop position, taking it from side to side first, bringing the heel of the hands underneath the shoulders, the knees underneath the hips, keeping that rocking sensation, moving the shoulders in a figure of 8, moving the hips. Take a turn around to that right heel, push the hips to the left. Take a turn around to the left heel, push the hips to the right. Do that a few times, just moving through that waist. Nice fluid movements in this tabletop position. And then taking it into flexion and extension. So breath in, lifts up the head, lifts up the bum, drops the belly. Breath out, we fold everything back in, chin to the chest. Fluid through this space. Feel how that body feels. Notice whether you're starting to feel a little warmth come into that internal body. Breathing in and out of the nose if you can. Try and have that slight contraction at the back of the throat to try and connect in with that slight Ujjayi breath, that warming breath for the internal body. Then bring that body to stillness. Breath in, raise the right hand to the ceiling. Breath out, fold and put that right hand in between the left hand and the left knee. And then raise again back up to the ceiling, open the chest. And then thread, get that rotation through that waist. One more time, raise that hand, open the chest. Thread that hand in between the left hand, left knee. Bring that right hand back to meet the left. Next breath in, raise the left hand and thread. Take it nice and fluid with the movement. Think about that warmth and energy and creativity in that space in between that belly button and that pubic bone. That sacral chakra, Svadhisthana chakra. One more time, raise that hand back up towards the ceiling. Bring that hand back to meet the right. Come forward with the hips. Take them over to the right side, back towards the heels. Over to the left side, back to the heel of the hands. Take them in the opposite direction, hips over to the left. Back towards the heels, over to the right. Back towards the hips. Let the hips drop down to the floor. And then bring those sit bones back to the heels, forehead to the mat. Bring those hips again back towards the floor. And bring those sit bones back towards the heels. One more time. Let those hips drop down towards the mat. And then let those hips come back towards those heels. Tuck the toes under, lift the hips to down dog and just move through down dog with a little bit of softness, bending in the elbows, the knees, moving through the shoulders and the hips. Then slowly bringing that body to stillness. Raise the right leg up towards the ceiling, open the hip. Bring that right knee towards the nose and squeeze. Raise that right leg up to the ceiling, open the hip. Right knee to the nose and squeeze. Raise that right leg up towards the ceiling, this time keeping it straight, and make circles with that right foot in one direction. And make circles in the other. And then bring that right leg back to meet the left. Take a paddle through the feet. A little movement through those shoulders. Bring the knees down to the mat. Seat to the feet. And let that forehead come down to the floor. Come forward with the hips, let the hips drop down to the mat. Bring the seat back to the feet, forehead to the mat. And again, bring those sit bones up and those hips back down. Seat back to the feet, forehead to the mat. Then make your way into down dog, lifting the hips, squeezing the heels back. Take a paddle, a little soft movement through that body, bending the elbows, the knees, and then bringing those heels to stillness. Your breath in raises that left leg, bends the knee, stacks the hip. Bring that left knee to the chest and squeeze. Lift that left leg back up to the ceiling, bend the knee, stack the hip. Bring that left knee to the nose and squeeze. Raise that left leg up to the ceiling, this time straight. Make circles with that left foot in one direction. And then take circles in the other. Feeling that motion through that left hip. Then bring that left foot back to meet the right. Come down onto the knees. Bring the sit bones to the heels, shoulders over those hips. Making a movement of a backstroke, one arm at a time, moving backwards, getting some mobility through those shoulders. And then bring that motion into a forward stroke. front crawl arms. Feeling that motion through the waist. Moving that body nice and fluid. All the time having that connection to that creative space, that Svadhisthana Chakra. Then bring those arms to stillness. Raise the hands up to the ceiling, palms facing up, palms come together. Push that air away as you bring those hands back to the floor. Raise those hands again back up towards the ceiling, palms facing up. Then turn the palms down, bring the hands back to the floor. And again, raise those hands back up to the ceiling. And release those hands down, palms facing down. Bring the hands forward, tuck the toes under, find your downward facing dog. Maybe paddling through those feet, nodding, shaking through those heads. Slowly walk the feet towards the front of the mat, bending the knees as much as you need to. Bringing the hands to the floor, bending the knees, having the feet out, hip width apart, toes facing off, heels pointing in. Bend into one knee and then into the other, having some movement through those knees, getting those joints to release any toxins and to encourage good nutrients into that space. If you need to have your hands on a block here, feel free to put your hands on a block or have your hands on the shins. And then slowly bring those legs to stillness. Heel toe those feet back into hip width apart. Breathe in, raise the hands up towards the ceiling, palms come together. Breath out, release the hands down, palms facing down, bring them back to the thighs. Turn the palms up, bring the hands back up to the ceiling. Turn the palms down, push that air away, bring the hands back to those thighs. One more time, raise those hands back up to the ceiling. Breath out, push those palms down, bring the hands to the thighs. Back straight position, bring the hands one at a time, floating back as though you're going through that water with your backstroke, that element of that second chakra. Svadhisthana chakra, Sacral chakra, that orange space in between the pubic bone and that belly button, that place of connection and creativity. And then take it to the opposite way, just all the time connecting the mind, the breath and movement, so you have full awareness of how your body feels, staying in this present time. Bring the hands to stillness. Next breath in, raise the hands up to the ceiling. Breath out, fold over those legs, bringing the hands down to wherever they meet. So if you've got your books or your blocks, just bring them by the sides of the feet. Stepping your left foot to the back of the mat. Take a bend into that left knee and right knee and drop your hips down towards the floor and lift the chest. Then take it so both legs come straight and the body falls over that right leg into a forward fold. And then take that left knee back down to the mat, moving in and out of low lunge and pyramid pose. Feeling that connection into the floor, that grounding in that Muladhara chakra, that first chakra we worked on. Working up into that fluid movement of that second chakra, that water element. Creating space, creating fluidity, trying to be expressionate with our movement. And then the next time you come into straight legs, just hold it there for a breath. And then step that left foot forward to meet the right. Just allow that body to fold over those legs. Breathe in, come up to a half lift. Breathe out, fold over those legs. And again, breathe in, lift up through that chest. Breathe out, fold over those legs. Breath in, half lift. This time step your right foot back. Drop down to that right knee, bend that left knee as well. Toes of the back foot tucked under, lift the chest. Take it into those two places. Breath in, straightens the legs, folds over the left leg. Breath out, we drop that back knee and lift that chest. Breath in, straighten both legs, fold over that left leg. Breath out, drop that back knee, keep the toes tucked and lift that chest. Moving in and out, working through those hips, releasing any tension spots you're holding in that space that tends to hold stress, the hips, the shoulders. Working them with good mobility as we move through this fluid movement. Working with that sacral chakra, that orange space below that belly button and above that pubic bone. And the next time you come into straight legs, hold it there, take a breath out, and then step your right foot to meet the left. Breathe in, come up to a half fold, straight back. Breathe out, fold over those legs. And again, breathe in, half lift. Breathe out, fold over those legs. Release the blocks. Step your left foot back. Drop that back knee. Bring your left foot and knee out to the outside edge of the left side of the mat and walk your right foot to the right side of the mat. Reach forward with that right hand, then lift it up to the ceiling, send it back to the back of the room. Making full circles with that right arm. The breath in lifts, the breath out brings it back to the front. Breath in lifts, breath out, back to the front. One more time, breath in, lift, breath out, come back to the front. Then take it in the opposite direction. Times, raise that right hand, bring it back to the front, and again, raise that right hand and bring it back to the front. Two more times. One more time. And then bring that hand back to the outside of that right foot. Heel toe the right foot into the centre, tuck the back toes under. Step the left foot to meet the right. Fold over those legs. Bring the hands to wherever they reach. Breath in, half lift. Breath out, release those hands back to the floor. This time step your right foot back. Drop the back knee, have that knee and foot to the outside edge of the right side of the mat. Heel toe that left foot to the left side of the mat. Make full circles with the arm. Breathe in, lift that left hand to the ceiling. Breathe out and bring it back to the front. 3 more circles with this arm in this direction. Use that breath. Feel that fluidity of movement in and out of these circular motions with the arms. When you get back to the front, take it into the opposite direction. 4 more in this direction. Taking 1, taking 2, taking 3, and taking 4. Bring that hand then to the outside of that left foot, tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee, step forward with that right foot and allow that body to fold. Next breath in, bring those hands back up towards the ceiling, bring the palms together and then breathe out, push the air away, palms back towards those thighs. Breath in, raise those hands back up to the ceiling. Breath out, push those hands away, back to the thighs. One more time, bring those hands back up towards the ceiling. Breath out, push those hands away, back towards the thighs. Take backstroke movement with the arms, feeling it through that waist, through those hips, through those spines, the chest, And then take it through the other way, bringing ourselves into our front crawl movement. Feeling that motion through the body, the sensations you feel, the warmth of the body as we're moving through these dynamic movements. And then bring those arms to stillness. Breath in, raise those hands up towards the ceiling. Breath out, fold over those legs. Step both feet back to a plank and just hold it in plank position for a couple of breaths. Drop down the knees. Bring the seat to the feet. And then bring it forward, the hips towards the mat. Lift the chest. Bring that seat to the feet again. Move in and out of this flexion and extension, this forward fold and this back bend. Keep that flow of that body. Keep that connection with the floor, the grounding into that Muladhara chakra, that first chakra we worked on at the beginning of this month. Now working on that second chakra, moving that body more dynamically in and out of different poses. The next time the hips come low, just let them hold there and just rock untuck the toes and just rock those hips from side to side. Then slowly release that chest down to the floor. Making sure the hands are by the side of the chest and the elbows are in. Breathe in, lift up the chest. Breathe out and fold back over. Breathe in, lift up the chest. Feel that fluidity of the spine. Breathe out and fold. Breathe in, lift up that chest. Breathe out and fold. Feel creative with that body as you move around the mat. Nice and controlled. Nice and fluid. Next time you come back up, hold it in this space. Then tuck those toes under, bring the seat to the feet. Hold it here for a couple of breaths and just move those shoulders from side to side. And then start to bring those hands back in towards the knees. Bring the sit bones down, untuck the toes. Breathe in, push the center of the spine back. Breathe out and let that chest fall. And lift and open to the front of the mat. Doing a couple of cat-cows in this bent knee position. That articulation through that spine. Bring yourself into a neutral space. Bring the hands on top of the thighs and take that backstroke motion with those arms. Feeling that mobility through the shoulders. Those nutrients moving and flowing through that body. Cleansing out the bad toxins, working good nutrients into those joints. Take it into our forward arms. Taking that front stroke position, that front stroke movement, that twisting through the waist. Then bring those arms to stillness. Take a moment here, sitting on the feet. Long, deep, easy breaths. So coming back up into a tabletop position first, then walking the hands a little further forward to bring that chest down towards the mat with the sit bones nice and high. And just notice whether those shoulders feel a little more open, a little more available to come into this deeper thoracic stretch. Then slowly make your way with the hips down onto the mat into our Sphinx position. Lifting up the chest, squeezing the shoulders back, pushing into that belly, that sacral chakra, that Svadhisthana chakra, in between that belly button and that pubic bone. Then bring that chest down, bring the hands to stack underneath the forehead. And we're going to move in and out of thoracic extension. So I'd like to push that tailbone down, the hip flexors into the mat. Your breath in raises those hands up, the arms away. Breath out, release back to the floor. Breath in, raise those heads, arms, elbows. Breath out, release back to the floor. 2 more times. Breath in, raise that chest, the arms, the head. Breath out, release back to the floor. 1 more time. Breath in, raise those hands, lift that chest. Breath out, release those hands back to the floor. Bring the hands by the sides of the body. Take a tuck under of the toes. Bring the seat to the feet, the big toes together, sit bones to the heels, foreheads to the mat. Walk the hands over to your right side. Place your left hand on top of your right and nudge that left hip back. Nice, long, easy breaths in this position. Then walk the hands back through centre. Take them over to the left side, right hand on top of the left, and just allow that chest to sink into the inside of that left thigh. Then walk the hands back into centre. Come up onto the hands and knees. Tuck the toes under. Walk the feet to the centre of the mat. The hands back to the feet or the shins. And just allow that body to fold over those legs. Turning yourself to that long edge of the mat. And then step the feet out as wide as you can take them. You may wish to use a block here to ground the hands to the floor. As you've taken those legs as wide as they can go, push into the outside edges, lift the tailbone. The back is nice straight line in a half tabletop. Breathe in. Breathe out, fold over those legs. Breath in, raise and lift to a half lift. Breath out, fold over those legs. Keep that motion going. Breath in, lifts. If you need to slightly bend the knees to get a little release off those hamstrings. Feeling that body elongate on the inhale and fold on the exhale. If you don't need to use the blocks, bring the hands to the floor. Maybe you need to come upon fingertips as you breathe in. As you breathe out, bring those palms back to the mat. Then coming back to that tabletop position, placing your right hand in the center, lift your left hand to the ceiling. Bring your breath out, bring that left hand to the floor. Raise the right hand to the ceiling and turn to the right. Bring your right hand to the floor on your exhale. Lift and lengthen on your inhale with the left hand. Bring that left hand back to the floor. Raise and lift with the opposite hand. Back to the floor. And lift. Again, moving with that breath. A little more dynamic with the movements than what we would in our normal yoga practice. Just feeling the movement through those joints. That fluidity through that spine. Breath to movement. And the next time you come back to center, again allow that body to fold.
Bend the knees, bring the hands onto the hips, slowly come up to standing, shoulders over the hips. Heel toe the feet back into the center. And release the arms down by the sides of the body. So we're going to take on tree pose here. Bring your weight into your right foot. Bring your left foot either just with the toes on the floor, foot into that ankle, or taking the toes off the floor, pushing into that inside of that right calf. Or if you wish to go higher, bring that foot in towards that thigh at the top of that right leg. Bring the hands to the chest, just find that static pose for a couple of breaths. Then we're going to take some movement with the arms. If you're not comfortable with the leg totally lifted, just keep those toe tips on the floor of that left leg. Breathe in, raise those arms up towards the ceiling. Breathe out, release them back down to the hips. Breathe in, raise those hands up towards the ceiling. Whoops. Breathe out, bring those hands back down to the hips. One more time, raise those hands back up towards the ceiling. Breath out, bring those hands back down to the hips. Bring the hands back to the chest. Hold it here for a breath. Release the hands, release the foot. Take a little paddle through those feet, a little movement through those hips, and then we'll take it on the other side, but I will try and move out of the way of my lamp. Bring the weight this time into your left foot. Bring the right toes either just onto the floor with the knee turned out. Bring the foot into that calf or into that thigh. When you've found the legs, bring the hands to the chest. Hold it here in static just for a couple of breaths. Connect. Feel the emotions of the inside of that body. Knowing the thoughts may come and go, but try to bring that attention back to your breath. Next breath in, raise those hands up towards the ceiling. Bring the hands back towards the hips. And again, raise those hands up towards the ceiling and back towards the hips. One more time, raise those hands and back towards those hips. Bring the hands back to the chest, palms together, hold it there for a breath. Then release the hands down, release the foot down, take a paddle through those feet. Bring the arms up to shoulder height, come up onto the tiptoes, slowly release those bums down to the heels, trying to keep those heels lifted, those feet to the feet. And then when you come into that balancing position on the toes, maybe take some back strokes with the arms, finding that balance on those toes. And then take that action the other way, taking it into a front crawl arms. Always moving the body, even though some parts of the body are still and being strengthened, the other parts of the body are being immobilized. Bring those hands then to the thighs. Bring the seat down to the mat. Heels to the front, toes back to the shins. Remove any flesh from under the sit bones. Toes back, tall spines. Breathe in, raise the hands up. As you breathe out, fold over those legs. Just let the head go. Take a breath in, elongate that spine, lift up that chest, bring the hands to wherever they reach. It may be the shins, it may be the knees, it may be the ankles. Just let that body fold. Nice long deep breaths in, nice long breaths out. Then walk the hands back up those legs. Taking your left foot into the groin, your right foot out to the side. So we've got that openness through that inner right thigh. Bring your right arm just to the inside of that right thigh. Lift up with your left arm and try and send that left hand over towards those right toes. Then bring it back down, around, lift that chest, lift that gaze, send that hand towards those toes. And again, reach around with the arm, lift up with the chest, send those hands to those toes. One more time, opening up through that chest. Then hold it here just for a count of 2 breaths. So feeling that stretch down the left side of the waist. Stabilising into that Muladhara chakra, that base chakra. But feeling that orange glow in the centre between that pubic bone and that belly button. That sacral chakra, Svadhisthana chakra. Bring those shoulders back over the hips. Straighten this time your left leg. Bring your right foot into that left thigh, into the groin. This time bring your left hand to the floor, elbow, maybe the hand, maybe the elbow. Breathe in, lift up with that right hand. Breathe out, fold, and try and send those fingertips towards those toes. Then make circles with the arms. Bring it down, around, lift up through the chest, and bring that hand back towards the toes. 2 more times, circling that right arm, opening that chest as you lift. And again, circle around, feeling that stretch as that right hand lifts up to the ceiling and then over to those toes. Let's take one more, circling that arm around and lifting and lengthening. Hold it here just for a couple of breaths. Bring those shoulders back over those hips. Bring the feet out to that short edge of the mat, the bum into the centre. Bring ourselves into a balancing position. So maybe you need to take a hold of those knees and bring the toes just in line with those knees. Maybe you hold it here for a few breaths. Maybe you go into high boat to low boat. So we're in high boat now. Take it to low boat on the breath out. Breath in, high boat. Breath out, low boat. One more, breath in, high boat. Breath out, low boat. And then if you've stayed in high boat, all of us come down slowly to the floor. Bringing the heads to the mat, the hands to the mat. Bring your right knee in towards the body. Make circles with that knee on the ceiling in one direction. Then make those circles to the other way. Bring that knee in towards the chest. Then bring it in towards that right armpit. Bring it back to the centre. Keep a hold of the right knee with the left hand and take that knee over to the left side of the mat. The gaze towards that right hand. Bring that knee back into the centre. Squeeze it into the chest. Bring the left knee in to meet the right, then send the right leg long. Make circles with the left knee on the ceiling in one direction. Take it through the other. Squeeze that knee into the chest. Then in towards that left armpit. Back into the centre. Keep a hold of the left knee with the right hand. Bring the left hand out to the side. And the left knee over to the right side of the mat to take that twist. Give those knees a squeeze and then release those feet long to the ends of the mat. Let the feet drop out to the side. Rub the palms together to create some heat in those palms. And then place the left palm on top of the belly and underneath that belly button, the right palm on top. Relax the elbows by the sides of the body and just feel that warmth, that ball of orange energy and creativity sitting in that space in between the belly button and the pubic bone. That's Svadhisthana chakra, sacral chakra. Knowing this is the space for change and transformation, creativity, connection, pleasure, emotion, feelings, intimacy, that place to feel. Allow the warmth of those palms to create heat in that space. Feel free to stay here for as long as you wish in Shavasana. Have peace in your thoughts, your words, your hearts. From my heart to yours, Namaste.